This right here is what you love to see out of the New York Football Giants. An excellent performance overall by the team today, and perhaps, in my opinion, maybe the best game I've seen the team kind of play in the last year, let's say. I mean, that's kind of easy, right? Maybe even since the Minnesota game. I'll go back to even that. I'll say even in that season of the Minnesota uh 2022, this is probably the best game that I've seen the Giants put together in all that time. And that goes from the defense to the offense to include Daniel, to include the run game, well, in some ways, and you know, the pass catching and the defense and everything else. Great tackling today out of the defense. Geno Smith was coming in hot. DK Metcalf was coming in hot. Um, Kenneth Walker was coming in hot. Their offense was coming in rolling from Detroit. And today, the defense stepped up in all areas of that issue, man. From the run game, Walker wasn't really getting anywhere. They brought in Charbonnet later on in the game, who's actually a pretty good guy himself, pretty good talent himself. He wasn't doing anything like that. DK Metcalf was on lock today by Banks. The Banks was closed today, man. It was closed today. Real recovery from his game against CeeDee Lamb, against DK Metcalf, another premier talent wide receiver in the league, man. Established top dog out there, man. And Banks showed up, man. Showed up today. He was, little piece on him today, or I'm sorry, this week. Him, saying the life of a cornerback is a lonely one. And he's right, man. When you're out there on that island on defensive side, man, it's one-on-one matchup against another guy across from you. It's not inside, with the scrum and the line and all that stuff. It's just different. And out there for the DBs and the safeties and stuff. Even from the safeties. But today, man, was a great, great game from Banks, man. Just not giving anything of note to the offense with DK Metcalf involved. I believe he was the one that caused the fumble on DK Metcalf as well. So turnover, just great from there, man. Some decent pass breakups too. Another great game from Cordell Flott too, man. The defensive side of the ball. Cordell Flott had a nice game. Defense, man. Sacks was coming in, 7 sacks. It's finally so much time for this team to starting to come together, man. Even though it's just the second win of the season, it's good to see. You might have questions or whatever about the previous games, man, but we're past those games. We're not doing that. We're not making excuses for those losses. It's like we don't want to hear any excuses for our wins against Seattle. You know what I'm saying? I don't want Seattle fans telling us about a bunch of excuses to why they lost. So that's why we don't use those things here right now. But the line today, man. Dex Lawrence Burns was out there today, man, doing it, splitting the webs and everything. Um, Thibodeau, well, in some areas too as well. But today, man, it really felt like a better at the front. The front seven was good. It's kind of hard to distinguish between the secondary or the front seven. Down four linemen today, man. Because even Roches and Sanchez was in on stuff, man. DJ Davidson was in on some stuff too, and that's interior guys. It was just not a great day for the Seattle Seahawks going against our defensive front, man. Our defensive front finally started to show some dividends, man, of what we invested in the offseason as far as bringing them in, trade values, and whatever else in that, man. Linebackers were playing well. Kurke was there. Great tackling from the linebacking core today, man. Great tackling from the team in total on the defensive side of the ball today. Just very few, if any, real missed tackles like that today. Team tackling, wrap up tackling, big hits when they were there maybe. But just real solid there all day today, man. It's a great showing from Bowen again today in the play calling department. drawing them up, even though I think today might have been a little more of a talents display as well, because they were beating guys, especially on the interior. And again, with Banks in the coverage and Flop, man. And Knock had a blitz today, another sack today. She was a nice blitz combo with Pinnock and Drew Phillips. And it was, yeah, it was money, man. It was money call right there. Great call. Just defense great today. Let's get to the offense today. Daniel Jones played a great game for Daniel Jones and quarterback play in general. A very, very good game. Very nice game. And some games that some might say have always been kind of within his talent, but he's never really, really hit on like we felt he was supposed to. And I think that kind of remains true. Not to discredit him or anything. It's how you show proper appreciation for his play while not trying to discount any of the other stuff that it might have been kind of shaky beforehand or as we go on through the season. Um, but today, man, the thing that was good for him today, what makes him a better day and probably the best game of the season, more than likely, is that the deep shots today, he was hitting on those. He took shots. I think he probably hit two for sure. But the Slayton today, one on the right side, just a streaks fade up on that sideline, man, for about 40 yards or so. Great catch by Slayton. It's great to see these deep passes go down because that's a strong point for Slayton in the offense is those streak routes, man. He's effective, great speed, very savvy route runner as well when it comes to playing against the defender on those streak routes or deep crossing routes and whatever else. Um, then he had another touchdown on another deep route. We call it the second deep pass today from Daniel. His second touchdown on the day um, was on a in and out to the end zone. Man, they were about 30 yards off, 30 yards off from that one inside of just outside the red zone. We hit that beautiful route from Slayton, man, who's just an underrated talent, man. I mean, he's kind of underappreciated for the kind of volume that he has been getting in our offense through whatever troubles he might have gone through while he's been here. Just him as a receiver, being reliant on the pass thrower to really be able to shine. He's not a running back. It's just more. It just really makes me, really appreciate this because the time that he's had here, man. And his abilities and talents, and that he's sneaky good, man. He is, man. He might drop a pass here or two, but he's got that speed, man. He's got hands and the playmaking that really shows up, and he's able to beat defensive backs. Today, he might not have been beating the number one D back and defensive back in all the NFL, but he was out there giving out lessons to the rookies and whatever else might have been playing them, or sophomore year players that would have worked. Today, Daniel was hitting mostly on his short route stuff. Opened up the game. It's been pretty solid for him already in the season. But like we said, the deep shots was missing to really push his game and push what we're seeing out of the offense this season. And we got a lot more of that, man. And even without Malik Neighbors, it's a good sign that the offense is able to um, spread the ball out more, because catch volume is good for a high value talent. You want them to get their opportunities, but spreading the ball out a little bit more today. Start out. Wandale showed up again today. In the short game stuff. He only his route depth on the chart. For him is kind of funky sometimes. I don't know. If it's necessarily him not getting all the depth he can, or if just the play is designed so much like that. Um, but he operates well in that. He's very nice in that, and it was a great utilization of him today. Even though he had a couple of drops, and couldn't completely make the catch going down to the ground on occasion there. But still relatively nice for him for the volume that he's getting, man. And he's 5'8", 100 some odd pounds, man, 185 some odd pounds. Mighty Mouse is what they call him in there, man. And that's exactly what he is. He's such a strong receiver for his talents, man, and size and build and stuff. It's pretty nice to see what he can do in a short game. Hopefully, it can get stretched out a little bit more, so that he's able to make more game-breaking stuff after the catch. Maybe a little more separation between him and the defensive back in those longer routes. Um, what else? No Hyatt today, really, unfortunately, to speak on it. This is probably the best game in a long time for Darius Slayton. in combination when playing with Daniel Jones at least. 100, he had about 8, 9 catches, maybe 10 catches, about 150-ish, 40-ish some odd yards, 40 some odd yards for the whole day, man. It's close to that. It's just a great game. It's so much to go through, right? The victory itself is even hard to comprehend because it came down to the wire. You know, we were worried about that first half was okayish. As far as the points that we were getting, it was about 10 and 10 up. And then we got into the second half, man, is where we started to get our worries about scoring points. The day we put up another 13. So we had finished up with 23 and, 20 well returned. Uh, Block field goal at the end of the game, add a little bit more to that. But 23, in general, 4 up to the end. So it was pretty good for the offense there at least. A little bit more than our season totals and more than that 21 plus thing that you like to see positive run. Great game, man. Yeah. So that second half, I think we still maintained a lot of the promising stuff that we saw in the offense in that first half. Great game called from Daboll, who obviously wasn't trying to have a lot of us weird stuff happen in this game, man. Because even in the start of the first half, let's go through some of the bad parts, I guess. Is we opened up with a fumble from Eric Gray at the freaking goal line, and it got returned for freaking 109 yards, 100, I'm sorry, 103 some odd yards. And that opened up that way, man. Just you already thought it was about to be bad, another thing, but it wasn't that today. It was overall a great game, a great win, victory for the Giants, man. So nice to have these victories, and when I get to do my videos like this, my post game, I don't have to always seem like I'm that bad guy, the worst bad guy out there or something. Like nah, man. We'd like to see the genuinely good stuff out there. Today was one of them genuinely good things, man. Not the stuff that needs to be fluffed up. I don't need to see a bunch of analytics and fluffed up EPAs and completion percentages and defensive stops and sacks totals for the day. Now, today was one of them days you can clearly see that the team was playing up today. Before the analytics, you could tell that the team was actually playing up. Now, the team that today was a team that actually played up today, man. It was great to see. It was really nice to see. I mean, even though it came down to that fourth quarter, let's finish it out, man. It was kind of tied up. Seattle wasn't really hitting on their offense today, but we're gonna give credit to our defense today because, like I said, Flock was on it again. Banks was doing his thing, man. The safety play was pretty good. Belton was in on some stuff. Um, Hawkins was in on something, I think. Dory Jackson had a nice coverage at the end of the game on a streak throw on the left side there to Tyler Lockett, I believe, from Gino coming down in that fourth quarter, maybe about 5 minutes left. There's great coverage there for him that kind of just locked things down more, man. It felt like at points of the game that we could have taken over, but we did, with this offense and just the whole team in general trying to really grow into itself. Wasn't quite that, but it was really solid to hold on to the victory. And it came down to the last field goal where we thought we were about to go in overtime, where Isaiah Simmons, out of all the plays that were probably made out of the day, probably made the play of the game, hurdling over the center, not over the center, but over the A gap that's to the side of the center, which is a legal play. And coming up, man, his talents, his athletic talents are the athletic talents, but his length, he's a long man, got them hands up and long arms up, man, and boop, block. I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly who picked it up and ran it back. Oh, into the end zone, and that just sealed the game off for us right there. And everything else, man. It was a great game today. It was a really nice game today, and it's nice to do one of these videos and not having to say, how many games are left or anything like that. Because they are this many games, but today was a good one, man. And I think we really should take that into this next week here as we come up on a prime time game, man, against the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's another test of the growth that is going on in the team itself, in the planet and the talents and how they're starting to establish their, you know, themselves a little bit more and gain back a little bit of the play that they've lost over these previous seasons. And big up respects to everybody on the field, man. I can say Daniel Jones played a good game. I can say Dan Jones played a great game, in fact. because it be true. See, I only tell the truth. I don't have to sit here and lie about guy. I don't sit here and try to lie about him. Never have. Mhm. But I think today we have to say that the whole thing was really good today because the rushing from Tracy, who I almost forgot to mention, man, the rushing from Tracy was top notch today too, man. Uh, great job from the run game. Devin Singletary being out, you're worried. Neighbors being out, you're worried. But today was some great stuff from the team. So it's probably a lot of credit to go to the coaching staff today with Daboll and with Shane Bowen having them prepared to play up and to play through all four quarters. Especially up to that final kick, man. That's playing through all those four quarters. That final kick and the field goal block. Instead of us, because you just picture us just being that team that's about to try to kick it to go to overtime and it being blocked. And they're like, but today the Giants got back that victory from 2 seasons ago against the Seahawks. And I think that does a lot and gains a lot of respect back for the team, man. From the fandom, at least from the last time we see them ourselves going against the Seahawks and Geno Smith and that pretty much, most of that same squad over there themselves. So it was a good get back in that game, man. Yeah, let's take this one. It's a great win, man, for the week and not let it hold back from having that same type of push, on prime time here because we're not the best team on prime time, but that's not a reason that the team should look bad in prime time. We just displayed it against a respectable team in the Seahawks today. All right, it was a long one, but it was just a lot of great stuff to go over today. Defense, offense, thanks, Dexter Lawrence, Daniel Jones, Wandale Robinson, Harriet Slayton, um, Isaiah Simmons, Ernst, Thibodeau, yeah, Madden, Coach Dayball, Coach Jay Bone. Good game today, guys. Great games, man. Wow. All right, yo. Peace out. It's as blue as it gets. Like it or hate it. Whenever it's delivered. Check you out next time, man.